Welcome back to the Social Media Stewards. It's episode 23, the Great British Battery Battle. Before we dive into that, a huge thank you to everyone who's been listening to the podcast or watching the podcast or catching our clips on all of the different socials. We appreciate all the support. And yeah, it encourages us to keep doing this. As we love doing it anyway. We'd probably still be doing it if no one was watching, but it is a good encouragement for us. So thank you so much. We've got loads to get through today, but the sprint weekend, and there's been all sorts of news that have been spewing out over the last couple of days.
Okay.
Where do you want to start?
What should we do? Should we start with the sprints and then do the news in the middle?
Yeah, I think that's
right.
That's probably a good place to start. Yeah, so sprints, the quali, we're really starting to see, like, I genuinely think we're starting to see that Ferrari has got a better one lap pace than the Mercedes, I think.
Yeah, it certainly seems it. They seem to have started nailing their qualifying, whether or not they've adjusted their battery deployments or what, but yes, definitely. Yeah.
Last few races, they seem to have been like right there, both cars. Lewis especially, I would say. But Charles really kind of coming to it. I mean, Q1 of the sprint was just the same as every sprint, every quali session we've had so far this season. Really, the usual suspects. The Cadillac.
we could just record the same bit for who went out first in Q1, couldn't we? Really?
Yeah. Cadillac.
Yeah.
The Astons, the Hasses, which is surprising me after the start of the season. They've taken a real step back. I think as the upgrades have come for the other teams, they've just stood still. I don't even know if they're taking a step back or whether they're just standing still.
I think they're standing still.
To the point where even Williams are kind of getting their act together and getting the car ahead of them, which is great to see. We were really excited to see what Williams could do this season. So
yes.
Yeah.
To be fair, I was more surprised that the two Audis split the two Alpines, to be honest. I was quite surprised by that. Because normally those two group quite well together. Do you know what I mean? Normally the two Alpines are just slightly ahead. But no, it's good to see the Williams moving forward a little bit. I know they still went out in Q2, but at least they seem to improve a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. And those Audis, like the Alpines, I think they're a little bit like Haas, but they haven't dropped back as far. I think they were quite strong at the start of the season, but now everyone's kind of thinking that at the start I was kind of like, that car might be the best of the rest.
Yes.
But they've slowly kind of just fallen down that pecking order, and now you're seeing like the Racing Bulls and the Audi being a bit stronger. The Racing Bulls especially.
Yes.
Lindblad and Lawson both actually starting to put quality sessions together now. Like Lindblad was struggling, I think, adjusted in the first few races, and now he's getting his act together, which is good.
The thing is, though, it seems like a little bit of a trait because at the beginning of every season, the Hasses never seem too bad, and they always seem like, oh, they could be onto something here. But then as the other teams bring upgrades, whether or not I don't think it's necessarily that they're standing still. Maybe they are this season, but it's almost as though every upgrade they put on or adjustment they make is not necessarily in the right direction. And so the car seems to go backwards. I mean, they did it years ago where they had to reset the car back to what it was at the beginning of the season, and it was more competitive again.
Yeah.
It seems to be a little bit of a trait in years gone by with Haas, and it's a shame because they start out the seasons, quite strong for the section that they're in, if you like.
What I did find quite interesting, though, that you kind of look through the qualifying sessions, is those guys that kind of just snuck into Q2,
Yeah.
even their Q2 times weren't anywhere near the Q1 times of
Yeah.
the top 10. So we are now seeing this massive, because they all improve like through Q1, Q2. The track evolves. They kind
Yeah.
of get a bit more comfortable, and we see those like lightning fast times in Q3. But those Q2 times of like everyone from Gasly down were still a couple of tenths even off the Q1 quality time of like Lewis and Kimi. You're kind
Yeah.
of looking at going, we're seeing the gulf, the top 4 or 5 teams, and then
Yeah.
the bottom of the field.
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think Q1 and Q2 for the sprint qualifying, they were all done on mediums.
Mm,
And then the Q3 times were done on softs.
yeah.
So there will be a bigger gap there. But
Oh
I know
yeah.
what you mean. Even in the
Yeah.
Q2 times, there was
Yeah.
still a larger gap than you would expect.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, Hamilton getting first. We know what Hamilton's like when it comes down to pole laps. Do you know what I mean? He's
Mm,
always been incredible at that. And wasn't it a few weeks ago that they said Mercedes and Red Bull were both trying to use something that boosted their qualifying speeds,
yes.
and that was stopped. So I think that's certainly helped.
Yeah.
But Hamilton has always been incredible at last minute bonsai laps
Yeah.
for qualifying. He can find the performance
And
when it's needed.
Silverstone is a specialty of this.
Of course. Yeah.
He's won how many times around it? He's podiumed how many times around it?
Yeah.
He
Exactly.
knows the track. He knows how to put a lap together around it. So I wasn't
That's it.
surprised to
Yeah.
see him near the front, especially with how strong that Ferrari has been
Yes.
in the
Exactly.
last few races. Um, the surprise for me from Q3 though is like George is really struggling to close that gap with Kimi
He
over one
is.
lap. I mean,
Yeah.
I think he's struggling over a full race as well, but that one lap pace, Kimmy's just got
Yeah.
that edge on him. It's got to be kind of working in his head at the moment. But
I
this
would have
new
thought so.
kid on the block is
Yeah.
outperforming him at every step. Um, it's not just like a one off, it's pretty much
No.
after the first couple of races, it's been the Kimmy show in that regard at Mercedes.
Yeah.
Um,
Every time.
and that was, where are we? That was it was 3.5 tenths. He was behind Kimmy in Q3.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which was the difference between second and fifth.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah.
so we started on the third row.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
um,
Yeah. I was quite shocked by that. To be fair, as I
mm,
was watching his times, I was like, "Ooh,
yeah,
he is struggling a bit." But he was constantly on the radio to the team saying how much he was struggling with the car,
mm,
whether or not it was slightly out of balance or what. I don't know.
yeah,
But yeah, he wasn't happy.
yeah. And Max, like the improvements that they brought last week
Yeah.
to the Red Bull, you can still see that there's some work to do, but the pace was still there, especially in
Oh.
that sprint quali.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Yeah.
The McLarens though, like they surprised me because obviously they've been kind of slowly bringing the upgrades and trying to put
Yeah.
themselves in a position, but they just cannot make any ground
No.
on the Mercedes or the Ferrari. They just don't seem to be able
No.
to make any ground on them at the moment. Um,
No. No. It's got to be something else with the car because it can't be the engine.
no.
It's got to be something else. Whether or not it's the way they're deploying, or is it something aerodynamic?
Mm.
Don't know, do you?
Yeah, I mean, I know Andre Stella basically said that overall for the weekend, their performance he felt was on par with the qualifying, so they're exactly where they expect to be in relation to the other cars.
Right. Okay.
Um, which you've gone from being the most dominant car on the grid to, yeah,
Yeah.
we know we're third or fourth fastest. We expect to be there.
Yeah.
Like that's a bit concerning.
It is.
Um,
Yeah, and it's disappointing to hear as well.
mm, mm. But yeah, it ended up being quite an interesting like front 2 or 3 rows the sprint.
Yeah.
We had Lewis and Kimi, Max and Charles, then like George and Lando.
Yeah.
It can, in a way, it kind of felt like everyone was kind of out of place. So I think we've been so used to seeing the Ferraris and the Mercedes pretty much locking out those front two rows.
Yeah.
It kind of mix it up a little bit for the start of the sprint.
That's it.
Um,
Yeah.
and then you kind of get to the sprint race. Um, what is going on
Mm.
with that Red Bull getting off the line?
Uh, I don't have any clue. I don't have any clue. You would think it's been the bane of their existence this whole season
Mm,
of getting that car off the line. You would think that'd be one thing somebody would focus on.
yeah,
Surely. Do you
yeah.
know what I mean?
Just Max puts that in. He gets himself to third on
Yeah.
the grid. You know, Isaac had himself in eighth, and then it starts,
Yeah.
and they both just get swallowed.
Yeah.
I mean, Leclerc had a bad start as well, and he kind of got swallowed up with thingy, but that Red Bull has been
He did.
consistently poor off the line.
Yeah, I don't get that at all. That what the Red Bull needs is a rolling start.
Mm,
That's what it needs,
yeah,
and it pains me to say it, but
yeah,
it is. That's what it needs. They have sucked unbelievably on those starts all season.
yeah. I think with Charles being slow off the line, you kind of know that was a driver issue because those
Right. Yeah.
Ferraris have been rapid off the line. So you know that was probably him bogging down, getting a bit of wheel spin or whatever. But
Yeah.
it's not even that with the Red Bulls. It's not like they're getting wheel
No,
spin. It's just like it's not engaging off the line to begin with, and it's just
that's it.
it's taking its time to even with this like extra time that they've been allowed to spool up the engines at the start. It's like
Yeah.
it's not getting enough.
Yeah. I don't know whether it's, it makes it sound so simple, doesn't it? But it's
Mm,
almost as though they're lifting off the clutch and going, oh, they're about to kangaroo off the line when you see a learner driver at sets of traffic lights, and they're a little bit nervous.
yeah.
Um, yeah, it almost sounds like the car completely goes from revving really high just to, and it doesn't want to get
Yeah.
off the line. I don't get it, but surely that'd be something the team is focusing on. I mean, really,
You look at the
because
work they've done. Sorry, go on.
yeah, but I mean, the race starts are so important because if you can get a really good start and get into some clean air, it's absolutely amazing for the rest of your race. Do you know what I mean? If Max had got a really good start and say he got in front, I'm not saying he would have stayed there, but good grief, it makes a world of difference to these F1 cars.
Yeah.
So it's all very well and good reducing the weight, bringing 7 upgrades and all that, but if you can't get the damn thing off the line, what's the point? What is
That's
the
it.
point? Of
It 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 does almost make a mockery of all the other improvements that they've made.
course it does.
Because when that thing is flying, it's flying though.
Yeah, but it's
It's a
pointless
quick
even
burner.
it's pointless even trying to get to the top in qualifying. Because as soon as
Mm,
the race starts, all that hard work's been done. You
yeah,
may as well have gone out in Q3 in 10th.
yeah.
It doesn't matter.
And
There's no
and
point.
and the thing is, we saw at the start of the season that was Kimmy's problem. Kimmy
Mm,
was having a problem getting off the line, and
yeah.
the amount of work Kim Mercedes like put into making sure that they nullified that
Oh, yeah.
and were able to get him off the line. We're
Yeah.
nearly halfway into the season, and that Red Bull is still struggling to
Yeah.
move. Um,
The the only thing I can think with that is it an issue like the way Mercedes had it with the zero side pod idea? Are they running it in a simulator going, right, okay, let's try this. Yet it works perfect every single time. We've done 200 launches. It
mm,
works in the simulator, but it just doesn't work on track. That's the only thing I can
mm.
think. There's no way the team isn't working on it.
Yeah. Oh,
But
yeah. Of course.
something is not corresponding from the track to the simulator. It's got to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got to be. But the crazy thing is, having said that, is when either of the Red Bulls go in to get their tires changed, they're off like a scolded cat.
Mm,
So how come they can't do it from the line?
mm. I wonder if that is a case of right. The engine's right up to temp.
Maybe,
It's been under race load for 20 laps. It's happy and it's ready to
maybe.
go. Whereas they're still quite cool, quite cold. They've only started up, done a formation lap, and
maybe.
you can't really get it up to full temp at that point, can you? So maybe I don't know if it's
Yeah,
something to do with that. I'm just speculating, obviously. Like,
of course. Yeah, 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 yeah.
but yeah, you're
Yeah, it's not
right.
a bad shout though.
The moment that car's dropped in a pit stop, they're gone. Like
Yeah.
it's crazy. Um, but it's becoming this theme, and we'll get into it when we talk about the news in a minute. But you already know you've got drivers who are unhappy,
Oh yeah.
and you want to give
Oh
them
yeah.
something, and you just the basic getting it off the line is
Yeah.
it's been it was just when you watch the onboard
Yeah.
from Max and Hajar and you watch them side by side, you just see them like getting swallowed by cars just coming around. Like, oh my
Yeah.
god! I think Max lost
Yeah.
like 2 or 3 spots
He did.
by
Yeah.
turn 3.
Yeah. It was
Um,
awful.
and he's now, you get onto the Wellington, and all of a sudden you're a couple of places back from where you could have been, and you're having to
Yeah.
defend to the guy behind you there,
Oh yeah.
coming
Oh
up
yeah.
to a battery intensive straight. It was crazy. But once
Yeah.
we got
Not
away,
good.
um, I I said this to you the other day, it was like watching China all over again.
Yeah.
You got a
Yeah.
couple of really tight corners, a little bit of action, like, ooh, a little bit of wheel to wheel. That's
Yeah.
really cool. Then we get on to one of the many long straights.
Yeah.
What we got at Silverstone, Wellington, Lewis Hamilton straight,
Yeah.
uh, then the straight after Cops leading up to, and you got the hanger straight after Maggots and Beckett's,
Yeah.
and then you're back at the start finish straight, essentially
Yeah.
after the chicane. What Max said last week after Austria, when he's talking about like
Yes.
he'd been in the
The battery
simulator.
deployment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first couple of laps, you could tell everyone was deploying and like just trying to keep up with each other.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
then you could tell the exact moment they all ran out of battery, because it was like lap
Yes.
5, lap 4, lap 5,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
everyone kind of went into recharge mode, and the
Yeah.
race just nullified.
Yeah. Well, by the end of lap 3, beginning of lap 4, Kimi and Lewis, there was a 6-second gap to the people behind.
Mm.
And I'm sorry, that's ridiculous. And the gap just maintained then.
Yeah.
It just absolutely maintained.
Yeah.
It's part of the. I think that the thing that really bothers me is we're not halfway through the season yet, and you look and go, how many more races are there where are these big, long, massive straights?
Mm.
And when you see them doing overtakes on these straights, it's not like, oh, he's barely got past him into the braking zone. It's one car had battery, one didn't, and it looks as though they're going past a car that is breaking down.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's awful to watch. It really is.
When like Kimmy spent like 3 or 4 laps kind of recharging and kind of pushing Lewis a little bit so Lewis would use his battery. And then when he got past him, by the time they hit the braking zone, he was 6 car lengths ahead.
Yeah.
He was over half a second ahead by the time he got past him, nothing, because Lewis had nothing. And then if you watch George going past Max, it's exactly the same thing. A couple of laps later, and I was watching the highlights again today, so I'll refresh my memory on it.
Mm.
And the commentary is such a joke.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, Kimmy's got a good exit out of that corner. Oh, Lewis has got no more battery. Oh, Kimmy's going to have it. And they're trying to make it sound so exciting. And you're like,
Yeah.
There's nothing exciting about that. The moment
Yeah.
Kimmy pressed that button, all excitement in that battle was gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is with things like that, it's at first I was like, why on earth are you trying to make these races sound exciting? These regulations suck. Stop doing it. Don't lie to me. But it's not the commentators' fault. They don't work for the FIA. It's not their fault. I'm not moaning at them. And to be fair, it's their job. Do you know what I mean? And I kind of have to remind myself sometimes, like, the commentator's job is to make it sound as exciting as possible, even when it's the most boring thing you've ever watched. And I've always said that to you. I'm not a football fan. I I've been to, if I've been to live matches when my dad used to take me, the atmosphere in a stadium is absolutely electric, and I could happily go every weekend. I understand why people go to a stadium. The problem for me is that watching it on TV, it's boring. So I see it on TV, and the commentators are trying to make a small little kick from one side of the pitch to the other, make it sound as though somebody's scored and won the World Cup. You haven't. They kicked a ball. Do you know what I mean? So it's their job to do it,
Mm,
and I understand why
mm,
they do it. But I can't watch things like that. It bores me to death.
mm,
And I could quite happily watch the Formula One on Sky Sport on mute because they do my head in.
mm.
They absolutely do my head in, but it's their job, so
Yeah,
I'll just ignore it. Do you know what I mean? They have to make it sound
yeah,
exciting, of course they do.
yeah.
Um, but it's just not. It's painful.
No. It's like saying when you're getting through like tens, 2, 3, 4 before you get onto the Wellington Straits and stuff like that. There was
Yeah,
some really great kind of racing going through there. You know,
yeah, there was.
side by side. George and Oscar were going at it for a couple of laps.
Yeah,
Max was getting involved with George and with Oscar as well. And like through those bits, you're like, that's racing. They're putting the car like
yeah,
side by side, they're giving each other space. One of them, they're trying to kind of get the elbows out a little bit, but it's good, it's
mm,
exciting. But then you literally go straight from that onto the Wellington,
yeah,
and whoever's got the most battery wins.
yeah, yeah. That's exactly it. Yeah.
And it's just it's
Do you
getting
know?
harder and harder to be like, this is Formula One. It's like we're watching the
I
slow
know,
death of Formula One.
I know. Do you know what though? If and this is childish, but
Mm.
if I was Kimmy, I would have wanted to overtake Hamilton on the Hamilton straight because that must really hurt. If you get
Yeah,
overtaken on your own straight named after you, that must be the most
yeah,
painful thing.
mm,
It's got to be, hasn't it? Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Hamilton's getting passed on the Hamilton straight. It's just gutting, isn't
yeah.
it? That.
And to
Do you
be
know what I
fair, if
mean?
you get a good drive out of left field, you could do it.
Exactly. Do you know what I mean? I just think Kimmy should have just saved up that battery just for that and
Yeah,
like waved as you went past.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? I think that would have been a nice touch.
mm.
But but yeah,
But
to
yeah,
be
but
fair, the race got neutralized very quickly.
yeah.
Very quickly.
Um,
Yeah.
I know it was 17 laps of then just like inevitably waiting for those that were charging their batteries to.
Yeah. I mean, Kimmy only got past what, 4 laps from the end? It
Mm,
wasn't early on. It did take him the majority
yeah.
of the sprint race.
Mm,
And what they were saying was, as they were going, is that the Mercedes garage was telling Kimi where Hamilton was deploying to try and get him closer, and gradually you could see it working
yeah,
through the lap. So that certainly helped him.
yeah,
But Antonelli did a fantastic job. And to be fair, Lewis was doing a great job
yeah,
until obviously Kimi overtook him. But yeah, those two were in a class of their own in that sprint race.
yeah.
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
I genuinely wonder if the amount of extra energy that they let the drivers have from boost is too much,
Yes. Yeah.
and whether it
The
needs to be addressed.
the problem with that is that it's the only times the cars go fast.
I know, I know, I know. But
So
if you said, right, we can give you enough energy to get into a position to attack,
yeah,
none of us would probably be too bothered about it. Because it'd be kind of like DRS, right? The DRS can get you into a position. Yes, occasionally it can get the job done,
yeah,
but a lot of the time it put you in the position to attack.
yes,
So
yeah,
if you gave them just enough battery to get into a position to attack,
mm,
it would occasionally get the job done anyway,
yeah,
but you'd still be leaving a lot of it to the driver. Right, you're going to have a little bit of extra speed going into this so you can attack them going into the corner, you can set them up. I just
yeah.
wonder if they're just giving them too much. like, oh, this is a big number. Brilliant. It's
Yeah, I think the only issue with that is if you're going to make it so it worked almost like the way DRS did, why didn't we just keep DRS? Do you know what I mean?
I know.
It's
It's,
I think the whole deployment with these battery things is ridiculous anyway. We either have too much deploy when they've got it, so it looks like one is standing still, or then the rest of the lap they've got no deploy and they look ridiculously slow.
mm,
We these regulations you can't win. I haven't seen a race where it's a happy medium. Do you
no,
know what I mean?
and I mean, we haven't got to the actual full race yet. Obviously, we're going to do the news in between. But
Yeah,
the sprint and the race all combined, and we've said this a couple of times leading up to this now. Like
yeah,
these aren't like Silverstone. It's got a lot of straights, yeah,
yeah.
but it's not even the worst track for straights,
Oh no,
and they're yet to come.
yeah.
Um, and you're just kind of looking at it going, how are they going to solve the problem? Are we going to get to Vegas and you're going to see a car in first place that's been deploying battery to defend, and by the end of the
Yeah,
back straight, they're in fifth
yeah,
because they don't
yeah.
have boost and the field behind them does, and then all of a sudden it's like you're just dropping back 3 or 4
Well,
places on a straight.
I mean,
Azerbaijan as well.
realistically, I suppose in Vegas they won't have to worry about lifting up manhole covers because they're not going to be going
Mm.
quick enough.
Yeah, there's that.
So, maybe that's how they've solved the problem. I don't know.
Mm. Yeah.
But there's 3 gigantic straights at Vegas and 1 quite large straight.
Mm.
You're going to have a battery for what, 1 of them per lap?
Mm.
It's. I'm not looking forward to that at all.
Yeah.
And I like the Las Vegas race as well.
Yeah. I do wonder if that's going to be one of the ones where they restrict deployment
I would have thought so.
to extend the
Yeah.
batteries, which again is going to make the cars even slower.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, what gets me about it's like when we were discussing, and we said this before again. Apologies for repeating ourselves, but when we were discussing the regs, like
Mm.
one of the first ever episodes that we did, it was like these actually look like they could be really good for the sport. Smaller
Yeah.
cars,
Yeah.
more nimble. We're going to see the drivers being brought to the forefront, and it's completely
Yeah.
the opposite so far.
Completely. Yeah.
And he's like, oh, mate, it's, it's
I,
just
th- I think that's I think that's the problem, and that's something we've got to. I think that's something we've got to remember is clearly when this was on paper and they were coming up with these regulations and all that, it did sound fantastic.
Mm.
That's one thing we do need to remember is when reading through the rules, we sounded absolutely fantastic. So that's clearly what they thought it was going to do for the sport.
Yeah,
They thought it would make it a lot more exciting. In reality, it has not done that.
no,
They haven't purposefully gone, let's make everyone slower, let's make overtaking look absolutely ridiculous. They haven't aimed for that. It's the way it's worked out. But
yeah,
rather than silence the criticism, they should have acknowledged it quickly and said, we are going to sort this out
yeah,
because we're not happy with the way the regulations turned out. I would have had a lot more respect for them in that manner.
yeah,
And I would have thought, fair enough. I understand you had the best intentions, which I'm sure they did, but at least they're looking into it.
yeah,
I would have had no issue with that
yeah.
at all.
Try and pivot on it as quickly as possible rather than double down.
Yeah,
Like, yeah,
yeah. And, sort of acknowledging the fans and saying, apologies, it's not what we were aiming for. We will look into it rather than just going, you can all shut up. We're going to delete your
yeah,
comments.
yeah.
Go away. There's ways of dealing with things and they went the wrong way.
Mm. I mean, the surprise from the sprint for me though was Lando in third.
Yes. Yeah.
He had a great drive to get that to third because that car shouldn't be anywhere near the podium, in my opinion.
No.
He did really well. Even kind of, holding off a bit of a late charge from George.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was like the only kind of bit from the whole sprint where you kind of go, oh, that was interesting. That was
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, was like I say, I watched the highlights of it again before, and I was struggling to kind of go, oh yeah, let's pick this bit to talk about, let's grab that bit to talk about.
Yeah.
It's like, it's it was nullified so quickly. No,
Yeah.
apparently, just reading the policy, Perez received a 10-second time penalty for causing collision, and Hulkenberg received a 5-second time penalty for leaving the track and gaining an advantage.
Yeah.
Right.
Didn't make any difference at all to Perez.
No, no.
He was already a long way behind when they gave him that penalty.
Yeah. The only plus for Cadillac there was they got both cars across the line.
Yeah, I'll give him that. Yeah.
They, and Aston Martin got both cars across the line.
Yeah, not a single DNF in the sprint.
No. But then, we were talking about like Williams kind of getting their qualifying together at the race pace, even over 17 laps.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
Yeah, that's kind of the worry. If you look at where the Aston Martins finished, where the Cadillac finished, where Williams finished, and the Haas.
Yeah.
In fact, all of those like bottom 4 or 5 teams, after 17 laps, over 45 seconds behind the leaders.
That's crazy.
It's 3 seconds a lap. More
Yeah, near enough.
And one of the Cadillacs and one of the Aston Martins were lapped on a 1 minute 32 lap on the race pace.
That's crazy. Yeah.
It's insane. That should not be happening in a sprint, like unless something drastic has happened. It just should not be happening.
No, it shouldn't be. No.
Crazy.
Right. Shall we move on to the news?
Yeah. We've got a couple of it's more rumors, isn't it? No confirmed. Not really confirmed. Which bit do you want to start with?
Piastri.
Okay. Right. So rumor isn't that he is, I mean, it's not a new rumor that's but that he's unhappy at McLaren.
Yeah.
But he is at the point where he's told leadership he wants out.
Yes. Yeah.
So rumor is him and his management have basically informed Zach Brown and the rest of the leadership there that they want out. They're not happy. They haven't been happy since the Italian Grand Prix, where he was told to basically step aside for Lando.
Yeah.
After Lando's botched pit stop.
Yeah. And to be fair, rightly so.
Yeah.
Completely rightly so. We said it at the time. Obviously, we weren't doing the podcast at the time, but if that was a team decision to do it that way round and then it went wrong, okay, I can understand that. But Lando was given the option, and he suggested pitting Piastri first.
Yeah,
they did. It was Lando's decision. It was his pit stop that went wrong, and they'd agreed before the race pit stops going wrong are not a racing incident, so they would not ask to swap drivers, and then they did it anyway. Yeah. And so I can understand completely why he's cheesed off. And realistically, let's be brutally honest about this. If they hadn't have swapped drivers at that race, Max would have been 5-time world champion.
Yeah,
because it was only a 2-point deficit. And I'm not complaining about that as a Max fan, by the way. I'm just saying that one result there made a massive difference at the end of the season.
Yeah,
those 2 points gave him the win. You know what I mean? So I can understand why he's frustrated, and because they were so close performance-wise over that season at the beginning half of that season between Lando and Piastri, I'd be annoyed getting to be told to move out the way.
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
I
It's not
mean,
fair.
if 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 Lando had come in first and then Oscar had had the bad pit call, like, could you imagine Lando getting the
Yeah.
call going? By the way, he was only 3.5 seconds behind you. Can you slow
Yeah.
down so he's only 3.5 seconds behind you, please?
Oh yeah.
It's a stupid call to make, and
Of
yeah,
course it is.
it is. I mean, some would argue it's like, oh well, because they made the team call, Lando's the champion, and it's because they made the team call. It's like, yeah, but that's not the point. The point is
No.
they had a pre-arranged agreement
Yeah.
that yes, there would be team papaya rules.
Yeah.
Yes, there would be calls made by the team, but no, a slow pit stop was not one of the reasons why those calls should be made. Um, so, and we said it in our season review. Again, one of our first episodes. It was from that point you could see the decline in Oscar's performance.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
It's like he'd lost all
Yeah.
confidence in the team, and
Yeah.
that had a major impact on him. And I still don't think he's recovered from it.
No, I don't think he has.
And if he's not happy there, and if he feels like he's never going to get the support, because let's be
Yeah.
honest, Lando is McLaren's boy. He's
Of
been
course.
he's
Yeah.
been their driver for so long. You know, they poached Oscar from Alpine with that whole
Yeah.
drama of announcing in the middle of the night that he was racing for them,
Yeah.
and Oscar putting out that I won't be racing for Alpine. So he's come in there. He knows Lando's their guy,
Yeah.
and that's not going to change.
No.
Not under the current dynamic. He's probably always going to feel like the number two. So if he feels that way, it's probably right that he looks for another team.
Yeah.
The issue
Yeah.
is, where does he go?
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, the thing is for Piastri is I think as much as there was a lot of drama around him signing for McLaren when he was meant to be signing for Alpine, it was definitely the best decision for his career, and it did him the world of good.
Yeah.
The problem is he was treated badly last year, I think,
Oh yeah.
and it wasn't fair at all. And it's okay for people to go, oh yeah, but because of that, Lando won the championship and all that. That's great, but at the time they made that decision, Lando was not the world champion, so he didn't have to move out the way. Nor was he 100 points ahead, and none of that was true at the time. You had to take it at the time, and at the time it wasn't fair.
Yeah.
So I can understand why he's cheesed off, and I can understand why he wants to move. But like you say, it's where he goes. Now, that brings us on to all the other stuff now. Well, one of the other things is obviously it's been no secret. Max is very unhappy this year. He doesn't like the regulations. He's been very frustrated with the Red Bull car as well. And he does have get out performance clauses in his contract where if he's outside of the top two in points, he can activate that. Which I'll tell you what, whoever wrote that into a contract, that is ballsy.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? To say, well, if you're not the second driver on the grid in points wise, you can activate this clause and get out of your contract. That you've got to have some real confidence in your car to do that.
Yeah.
And especially going in, he already had it in the contract, but going into this new regulation, it was always going to be a bit dicey, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And so you think, oh, the rumours are that Max is going to go to McLaren, Piastri could go to Red Bull, like a straight swap, if you like.
Yeah.
It's not out of the realms of possibility, but then again, I can understand in a way Max going to McLaren. McLaren have got a decent car, it needs upgrades. Maybe he's looking at it for McLaren will have sorted a lot of these going into next season. He'll also be reunited with GP. All sounds, very nice and cuddly and all that. I'm just not sure why you would do it.
No.
Do you know what I mean? If he was going to move, me and you said this before, if he was going to move, you'd go, I'll see you later, Russell. Max is now driving for Mercedes, because it's not just the Formula One. You look at Max's racing team, the run of the Mercedes AMG GT and things like that. You think he's already got that connection. Toto stuck up for him when he wanted to do the Nürburgring for changing dates and things like that and helping out. And they've clearly got a good connection. But
Yeah,
it's hard, isn't it?
it's like when you talking about that clause.
Yeah.
It is extremely brave because at the time when he's looking at those contracts and you're looking ahead, going, well, we're going to get new regulations in 2026. It's not going to be an Adrian Newey chassis. It's not going to be a Honda engine. You're going to be running your own engine for the first time in those regulations. You're going to be using a new header design for the first time under those regulations.
Yeah.
But you've had the confidence to look ahead and go, yeah, we'll be okay. That's a big responsibility. Now, apparently, like the higher ups, like Mark Matterjitz and all that, aren't happy with that performance clause, and I've tried to ask Max and his management to remove it. And I think part of that is they know if he activates it, they get nothing for him leaving.
Yeah.
Whereas if that clause isn't there and he gets tempted away by McLaren would have to pay some sort of compensation to Red Bull for that.
Yeah.
For losing their driver. Whereas the current situation is he says, the car's not good enough. You're not delivering. I'm delivering.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave. And they're left with a hole for a driver and no money to try and fill it. They've
you see,
got to dig into their own pockets for it.
the thing is, with that clause, I certainly wouldn't have thought Red Bull would have put that clause in heading into this 2026 season. I think you'll probably find that clause has been there for quite a few years of his contract, if you like. But they probably signed it when Max was absolutely dominating. And even when his teammates couldn't keep up with him, they've gone, good grief, regardless of how bad a car is, he can get it over the line. Whatever you want, we'll sign. And, Max's managers will have put in, well, okay, then, here you go, here's this. And they've signed it, and it's been in there for a while.
From what I understand, it was part of the negotiations heading in, like, with a mind to heading into the new regs.
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
So he did sign it pre-new regs. I think it was like not last season, but the season before when he signed his extension.
Okay, so 24. Yeah.
But they knew the regs were coming, and so in their mind they were like, "Well, okay, new regs mixes up the playing order.
Yeah.
So we want this in there." And the Red Bull hierarchy were like, "Okay, not a problem. We're confident."
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a big one. But if Max wants to stay in the sport, doesn't want to stay at Red Bull. We've often thought that Mercedes seat, like Toto would, just shove George out and bring Max in.
Oh yeah.
But you were saying before that, like, you heard rumor that's a closed door essentially now.
Yeah, apparently so. So the rumors are that Mercedes have basically gone, we have had conversations, but that's all over now. It's a closed door. Nothing more will happen. Now, you've got to take everything you hear with a pinch of salt, because it's not like Toto Wolff has been on the couch at the F1 weekend, and when he's been asked, he's gone, we did speak to Max about it. He's not interested. We're not interested anymore. We've closed that door. That's it. It's not like it's come straight out of Toto's mouth. But having said that, it was only this week that they interviewed Zach Brown, and he said, no, we're not interested in Max. We've got our two drivers. We're happy. So, yeah, it's hard because, of course, they're going to say that, because otherwise, if you're going to sit there on TV as Zach Brown and say, well, we are still interested in Max, well, one of your drivers is going to get panicked, and we know it's not going to be Lando. So you'll have a driver sat there in the car going, hang on a mo. The same way we knew a year in advance that Hamilton was going to Ferrari, and Sainz was just sat in the car all season going, I'm being replaced. What are you talking about? Don't ask me to move out Leclerc's way. I'm going to show you why I should still have this seat. And he drove the wheels off that car.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So none of the teams are going to actually come out and say anything until it's all signed. They are all rumors. There is one thing that worries me though, right? I'm not worried about Max going to McLaren because I think Max is one of those drivers that will get the best out of any car that he drives. So I think if the McLaren's even got a little bit of performance, he will extract it. I've got no issue with that. I wouldn't really want to see Max leave the sport entirely. I am a Max fan at the end of the day, but he is exploring other things with his own race team. My biggest concern would be for Piastri. It all sounds very well and good saying, because it is just rumours, they'll end up just being a straight swap. Maybe McLaren would be dead happy if they got Max. They would let Piastri out of his contract. There's no exit fee. There's no nothing. Red Bull have got a driver, so McLaren. My concern would be is if Max went to McLaren and then Red Bull go, but we've had this dude in the sidelines from our academy and we're going to shoehorn him in there. Sorry, Piastri. Don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because Piastri is a damn good driver.
Yeah.
And I like him. He's got a cracking personality. You can't not like Piastri. Do you know what I mean? He's just one of those fellas. So that's my concern in that scenario.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to see him with no seat.
Yeah. I mean, I think if you're looking at the Red Bull garage, Lawson isn't up for driving the Red Bull car.
No.
Lindblad's got potential. He's still young. You keep him.
Yeah.
Keep him where he is. Isaac's still, he's still new to the sport. He's still a youngin. If I was head of Red Bull, I would be like, we can bring in someone with experience, someone who's quick. We're not going to be taking a gamble. I'd take Oscar. I think that's the safe bet. But you are right in the sense that they seem to have this conveyor belt of young talent. These drivers that they kind of bring in. But I think you'd be crazy to say no to take an Oscar if he became available and you just lost the quickest driver on the grid on any given day. You'd want to be able to know that you could put someone in there who knows the sport, who knows the cars, who can just get in and drive. The thing, sorry, go on.
In that sense, we already know there's been talk of it. Would you look at Alonso?
No.
Really?
I wouldn't, because you don't know how long he wants to stay in the sport.
No, that'd have to be in contract negotiations, wouldn't it? Like if we'll take you, but only on a 12-month contract, renewable at the end of each season, depending on performance.
But that wouldn't give you stability. Like I love Fernando. I love him. He's such a character, such a great driver.
Oh yeah, and it's not a suggestion, by the way.
Yeah. But do I think he could deliver at this point? I think he's just driving now because he loves it. Don't get me wrong, he's definitely a brilliant driver. And he's probably better than half the grid still, even at his age. But I think you bring in someone with a bit more experience that's still got a lot of years ahead of them. And then if you can build that relationship, you've kind of locked that in.
Or do you go completely left field? No, in all seriousness. I know we're going off on a tangent now, but do you go, should we see if Russell's interested so he can be number one driver? Because he's not at Mercedes.
I don't think he'd make the move unless he was forced to.
I think he'd make the move if he gets defeated by Antonelli this year. Any day of the week.
Only if that Red Bull looked like it could beat the Mercedes next year. I don't think he'd move out of the quicker car willingly. I think if the boot came and that seat was available, he'd take it. The other possibility, because you were saying about like Max joining up with GP. GP's not dead. It's 2028, so Max would have to work with somebody completely different for a year as his race engineer. The other possibility, which is one I don't think a lot of F1 fans want to talk about, and you kind of you broach there,
Yeah.
is Max just says, "I just don't like the cars. I don't
Yeah.
like the regulations. I've got plenty of stuff I could be doing outside of F1.
Yeah.
Call me in 2030 if you're serious about the V8."
Yeah.
And he could just disappear from F1 for 3 years
Yeah.
and go and do his GT racing. He can, develop Team Verstappen. It'd be
Yeah.
free of that. He wouldn't need
Yeah.
to worry about interest from sponsors or anything like that because he's Max Verstappen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah.
so the real possibility is you end up with a seat at McLaren and a seat at Red Bull.
Oh yeah.
Um, I think the Red Bull one's an
Yeah.
easy one. I think Oscar goes there, but
Yeah.
then
Maybe. Yeah.
but then you end up with this free seat over at McLaren. Personally, I think Max is more likely to walk away than to sign for
Yeah.
McLaren.
I think you could be right. Yeah.
I hope I'm wrong because I love seeing him in the sport. He is one of the best drivers the sport's ever seen, and
Yeah.
he can put a car, in its most competitive position, regardless of the car.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
you put him in that Aston Martin, he will put that as high as that Aston Martin could possibly go. It's probably
Oh
some
yeah. Of
further from
course. Yeah.
where it is now, but
Yeah.
he's going to extract everything from whatever car he's in.
Yeah. Of course.
So you want to see that in the sport. Still, you want to see him in the sport, regardless of what he's driving. If it's a Red Bull, if it's a
Yeah.
Mercedes, if it's a McLaren, you want to see
Yeah.
it. But if he's not enjoying the regulations, he's not enjoying the cars,
Yeah.
but he's loving life in a GT car,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I can see him just saying, "Right, I'm out for a bit."
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, moving away from the drivers bit, but other rumors, weird rumors. Um, apparently it's come directly from, I can never pronounce his name properly, Mohammed
Ben Sucker.
Ben. That's it. No offense, guy. I always mispronounce people's names. It's awful. It's a bad trait of mine. The rumors have come saying that he's said that he wants, for the next set of regulations, the big regulation change, he wants the cars 100 kilos lighter. How? I don't know. But he also does want to bring back refueling. Now, we spoke briefly about this today. And I think that's the only way you would get the cars 100 kilos lighter is if you're only going to fuel them for half the race at a time.
Yeah.
That's the only way. Whether or not you could ever reintroduce live refueling, I don't know. It's a lot different than it used to be. It used to be a gigantic hose, and one fella just had to try and make sure it was pushed on the car. Whereas now, if you see them in the pits, it's like a special, one-way valve clip, and it's pressurized, and it's a lot safer than it used to be. But whether or not you could do that in pit stop scenarios, I don't know. I doubt we'd see it come back. It's possible, but there'd have to be extreme safety regulations in place for that.
I think if it was made part of the regulations, they'd just have to adapt the engines to be able to take the refuel. That'd just be part of the regs. But I can't see it happening because the reason it was removed was on safety.
Oh yeah.
Because we'd seen how many cars set on fire. Because all it takes as they're pulling off that hose is for one drip of fuel to hit something hot. And you just got to go. You can probably go on YouTube and look for F1 pit stop fires, and you'll see
without
all
a doubt.
sorts. From a safety standpoint, I can see that just being thrown out the window.
Completely. Yeah.
So I think, but the 100 kilos, they're already struggling to hit the lower limit of this.
I
know. And to keep the cars safe, because part of, if you want to make the cars safe and rigid, you've got to add strength. To add strength, you add weight naturally. It's just part of the process.
The thing is, you could probably quickly eliminate 40 to 50 kilos of these new cars by getting shut of the batteries.
Maybe that's what he's thinking. And the other 50 kilos to fuel.
Yeah, well, do you know what? I would completely support live refueling in the pit lane, If for one they could prove it was safe, because I wouldn't want to see anyone catch on fire and get injured, because I don't think it's worth the risk personally. I would love to see that if they were going, listen, we're going to fit these things with V8s, V10s, or V12s, and the reason we need live refueling is because there's no way in hell one full tank will get them round the race.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I will bow at your knees for that. No problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All hail the guy that brings in that rule.
Yeah.
But if it's just a case of to make the cars a bit lighter so they're not carrying so much fuel to make them faster, you can make them faster just by changing the engines.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
I mean,
Do you know what
part
I
of
mean?
me wonders whether he's just shouting all the right things because people don't really like him that much leading the FIA. And
Yeah, I
with
think
stuff that's happened in the last couple of weeks of them now removing like term times, now he can rule forever if he wants to.
yeah, he's acting a bit like that. You know, the uncool dad at the birthday party, and then just starts coming out with loads of really bad dad jokes to try and make himself popular.
Yeah.
Hoping that all the kids will go, "Wow, your dad's really cool," and he's not.
And the thing is, it's so easy to score points at the moment with the F1 fan base
Yes.
because we
Yeah.
don't like these batteries, because we'd rather see
Yeah.
V10s, like V8s.
That's it.
We'd rather see more, you know, everything down to the mechanical side of the car and the driver.
Yeah.
So it's so easy to go, oh, by the way, I'm going to bring back the golden era of F1, and everyone's going to go, oh, I'm listening.
Yeah.
Which is at odds, as you said before, with what the FIA itself is trying to do, and Formula One itself and Liberty Media are trying to do. Going, look, it's amazing, and he's going, but it isn't. It's so good, but it isn't. And you're like,
yeah, exactly.
Which one is it? Which one do you want us to believe?
Of
The head of
course.
the FIA,
Of course.
or your press machine? Like, so I think there's probably some truth. Like, he wants to bring back to the V8, and he says he can do that in 2030 without needing FOM and FIA approval. He can just stipulate that. But I think the engine refueling. Don't get me wrong. Like, years gone by, it was so cool to see. Like, this car, the cars get lifted up, the wheels get ripped off, put on. Some guys there with a hose, and bang, pulls it off, and the car's away, and just like, even more impressive than watching them do 2-second pit stops now. Honestly, something phenomenal to see.
Yeah.
You can never make that 100% safe. There's always going to be a fuel leak. There's always going to be someone who catches fire. So, from a safety standpoint, I don't think we'll see it.
No, I completely agree. I don't think we will ever see it, but I would only support it if they could say this new procedure is, you know, absolutely nailed on. The same as, like, you'd have to have things like, you know, automatic, you know, fire repressants and things like that, you know, in the little squares above where all the cables hang down and all that, so that if a fire is detected, it's just a case of whoosh, you know, like in a plane hangar, if you like, make a right mess of the pit lane and all that, you know, make it fun. But I can't see it. But that is one rumor that's come out. So we were talking rumors.
Oh yeah, of course.
But yeah.
But just briefly coming back to the Max one, forgot to mention, obviously, you know, about like Mark Mateschitz being like unhappy with the clause.
Yeah.
Talk is that he's not happy with Max at all, and actually he wants to sever ties.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is mind blowing to me.
I can understand his frustration in that, you know, if you've got an entire team, because the team isn't just what we see. It's not just the two drivers. It's not just the upper management. It is made up of, you know, thousands of people working behind the scenes, you know, and it's not just the people who actually work on the cars. It's the people who do their social media. It's the people who do their merch. It's, you know, there's thousands of people that we don't see. And so there is loads of people working their socks off to try and improve the car. and to keep the fans interested and things like that. So to have your driver every weekend going, no, this is rubbish, I can understand his frustration. But in the same sense, I can understand Max's frustration. Do you know what I mean? So it's twofold, isn't it? I feel sorry for the people back at the factory who are working their socks off, and then you get people where you get Max coming out just having an absolute moan about the car. I get it, but I also get it from Max's side as well.
Yeah.
It must be frustrating, of course it must. But yeah, I think it's a little bit childish just to say, "What, you're moaning again?" Do you know what? Just get out.
Yeah.
It's not, he is not like a rookie driver that's just moaning his head off.
No.
Do you know what I mean? It's not that. He is a 4-time world champion, and he is one of the best, if not the best driver on the grid currently. And to just go, do you know what? I've had enough of your moaning. See you later. It might be how you deal with your misses, but it's not how you deal with Max Verstappen. Do you know what I mean? He needs to grow up.
Yeah.
It's, yeah. So I can understand from both sides, to be fair.
It's just, it makes, like, for me, I can understand the frustration side of it. But yeah, I just can't understand the okay, well, just cut ties with him, get rid of him.
No.
Because you just know whatever car you put him in, if it's competitive, he's just going to make a mockery of your team.
Yeah. Without a doubt, yeah.
So,
yeah.
It just makes no sense whatsoever.
No.
All the new, I couldn't see any other stuff. It's literally just been kind of all rumor stuff, hasn't it? That's kind of just circulating the last couple of days.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of any big important stuff that's come out.
There was one other thing, but it was purely it wasn't a rumor, it was more of a suggestion by Martin Brundle, as to he doesn't see why Silverstone can't hold 2 races a year. And I thought, yeah, maybe, but surely you could say that about any of the tracks. And I don't really want to see Silverstone twice a year. Do you know what I mean? I don't see the point.
I'd say it could only work if the second race was in reverse.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I just don't see the point.
Yeah, no. There's that many world-class racetracks that I wouldn't want to put 2 on at one when we could bring in another world-class track.
Yeah, and also it could start something terrible because we could end up with Monaco twice. If you're going to start things like that, we'll end up with all the races we don't want twice.
Yeah.
Like China.
Yeah, and then you're looking and going, we could have Laguna Seca instead.
Oh, don't tempt me. Oh, please.
Could you imagine those cars trying to go down the corkscrew? Oh my god.
Oh, don't. You just have to make sure you ain't using battery. You'd be slow enough. But yeah, no, please don't tease me with that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like
the live refueling.
Saying stuff like, "Oh, we could do Silverstone twice a year," when there's so many racetracks.
Yeah.
And some that are coming off. Like next season, we're not going to have a Dutch Grand Prix.
Yeah,
the year after that, we're not going to have Spa.
Yeah.
No, don't give me 2 Silverstones. I love Silverstone. Don't get me wrong. I love Silverstone. Don't give me 2 of them. Don't.
No.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, no, don't want it. No.
Where does it end? Hey, we could race here 5 times a season. We're just going to park our boats in Monaco for the next month, by the way.
Yeah, once a month, Silverstone. That'll do. Yeah, just a whole season of Silverstone every weekend for 24 races. Job done. It's it. Yeah, I just thought, what a stupid comment to make.
That's awful.
The way he made it sound was as though like Silverstone is only used on the F1 weekend. You're like, it's not. I've been there. Believe me.
Yeah.
It's like, don't be so stupid. It's just silly, Martin. What you doing?
I usually like you, Martin, but not this time.
Oh, it was just idiotic, wasn't it? I thought, what are you waffling? Good grief. Anyway, shall we get back to Silverstone?
Yes, for the second time. Uh,
Yes, yes, for the second time. Oh,
uh, again, you get to quality, and it's Q1. It's the same thing. It's just the same. It's just the same as
well, you say that, but it's not though,
well,
is it?
it's no, it kind of slightly different.
What was Franco Colapinto doing there? Who invited him to Q1?
No idea.
Who did that?
Did him and Ollie Behrman switch seats for that second? I don't
Maybe.
know.
That must be what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, Colin Pinto, right? Recent weeks, he's been kind of finding some form,
Yeah.
which I've made it no thingy that I don't really rate Colin Pinto that much, but he has been finding some form recently. So yeah, so that quality was a little bit. He just couldn't tie it up. He couldn't tie it up.
No, he
In
couldn't.
Q1
No,
at all. So
no.
that was so out of like character for the Alpine. Not so much Franco Colapinto. It was the Alpine. Just seeing the Alpine there, it's like
Yeah, it was a bit odd that. Yeah. Yeah, he was the only surprising thing about Q1.
yeah.
It's not the surprise you want to be, but yeah.
Yeah. And then Q2, I think. Yeah, I mean, we said it before. Like, you look at those two racing bulls.
Mm.
The last couple of weeks, they've just locked out. Like
Yeah.
the like 9th and 10th. They've just been right there. The other teams can't. I mean, Gabriel Bortoleto got close. That Audi kind of got
Yeah.
close to kind of Pip and Lawson in Q2, but they're both doing a good job in those racing bulls. They're just it's
Oh, yeah.
definitely the best of the rest that right now.
Oh, without a doubt.
Which kind of starts weakening Red Bull's argument about the powertrain not being the more
Yeah.
powerful one. I think it's not doing Red Bull any favors with this a duo development argument.
Mm.
When you see
Yeah, possibly.
how especially over one lap how quick those racing bulls are compared to the others.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where are we? Yeah, it was only a couple of hundredths between Lawson and Bortoleto, but it was 6/10 to Gasly, 6/10 to Hulkenberg, nearly it was over a second to Ollie Behrman and the Williams.
Oh, yeah.
It's not even close with the rest of them,
No.
really. Yeah, I'm glad to see Arvid Lindblad actually getting it together now. I said a few weeks back, didn't I, that he was going to become like the forgotten rookie.
Yeah.
But he's starting to really feel at home in that car, I think, to the point where he's actually outperforming Lawson to some extent.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And he seems
Definitely.
like such a nice lad as well.
Yeah, he does.
So it's nice when you see the ones that like really kind of just happy to be in F1 and really nice and approachable.
Yeah.
And you see them start to do well. It's like I like that. I do like that.
Yeah.
But it was just it got back to being the same story for like the first two rows.
Yeah. Mercedes and Ferraris.
Mm.
Yeah. That's it. I mean, Kimi did a cracking job. I mean, he was quite clear to Hamilton as well. 0.17. Yeah. Clear to Hamilton. But then again, Hamilton was 0.2 clear of it. Oh, no, sorry.
Yeah,
Clear of Leclerc.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Leclerc was 0.2 clear to Hamilton. I mean, it wasn't as tight as it was in the previous race. They were they were rather tight.
Yeah. But then George, again, over 3.5 tenths off the pace of Kimi.
Yeah.
In both qualies.
Just couldn't tie it up.
No.
Yeah.
And there's been like this thing here, like, oh, George was just he had a bit of a rough weekend, and
Mm.
that seems to be he's had a bit of a tough weekend with the car. Seems to be the recurring theme every weekend when he's out qualified by Kimi.
Yeah.
Not that Kimi was just quicker. It's George was having a bit of a difficult time with the car this weekend. You're like, no, Kimi was just quicker.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh
George was
yeah,
still
without a doubt. Yeah.
quick,
Yeah.
but Kimi was just quicker. And there's only so many weekends you can say he's having a tough time with the car before you're saying, well, should
Yeah.
he be driving it then if he's having a tough time with it every weekend?
Oh yeah.
Um,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, 3.5 tenths off. Like not even close. That is light years.
I know, but then we have Hadjar once again out qualifying Max, which is impressive. He's doing a good job, man.
Yeah,
Good job.
I think one of the stats was in like I can't remember how many seasons it was leading up to this season.
Mm.
Max had only been out qualified by his teammates 3 times, and
It's in like the
Hadjar's
last 5 years.
yeah, and Hadjar's already done that in the first 9 races.
Yeah.
You're not saying in no means saying like, look, he's better than Max, but it's like look at the performance the boy's putting in. Like,
Oh yeah.
young
Oh
lad,
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
he's right at home in that car.
Oh, hats off to him completely.
Yeah,
He's doing a great job. Yeah.
yeah. Max just couldn't
Yeah.
tie up that last lap.
No, he couldn't. No.
Like 7 tenths off the pace, nearly 8 tenths off the pace.
Yeah.
Just uncharacteristic, but he did split the McLarens.
He did. He did. Yeah.
Which you look at that, you look at the McLarens going like 7 tenths off the pace in quali,
Yeah.
and Andre Stella's saying, "Well, we're kind of where we're expecting to be right now with the
I know,
upgrade
it's
cadence
grim.
that we've got." It's not good at all, is it? It's
No.
you do wonder when is their upgrade cadence going to pay off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if it doesn't do it soon,
Mhm.
they're in danger of Red Bull overtaking them in the constructors.
Yeah.
It's what's it?
Yeah.
There's only 51 points between them and the constructors right now.
Yeah. It's not much at all.
Well, it takes a couple of DNFs, isn't it? And all of a sudden,
Oh, of course, and we've got plenty of them.
yeah.
But should we go on to the race?
Yeah. Again, we nearly had a DNF or DNFs before we'd even got around the formation lap. As Alonso just stopped on track.
I know, that was so weird.
Yeah.
Do we know what caused that yet, by the way?
No. Strangely enough, no. But he did manage to get the car restarted.
Yeah.
But then didn't line up on the grid. So I thought when he pitted, I thought it was right. That's it. He's boxing to retire the car. But no, he's basically just started from the pit lane. So for whatever the issue was, managed to get the car going again, and
it's crazy.
Just rejoined. But when they got away, those Ferraris off the line.
Oh yeah, they've nailed that. Yeah, absolutely nailed that.
I think where are we? I've got the wrong thing. I closed the wrong window. You're looking at like you saw like the start that Charles got, and he was like right alongside Kimi before even the second phase kind of kicked in, and you're like, oh, hang on. Kimi couldn't do anything to defend against that, and then he gets to turn one, and all of a sudden, Lewis is just hanging around the outside of Kimi.
Oh yeah,
and he had nothing to offer. Like Kimi
No,
in that first start scan, and it wasn't like he had a terrible start.
no, he didn't. No, not at all.
Um, he just he got off the line quick, but in that second phase, those Ferraris just took off.
Yeah, whether or not that's the way they deploy on lap one, or whether or not it's just they're much better off the
Yeah.
line and the engine can get up to pace quicker.
Mm,
I don't know, because the Ferraris we know are faster out of the slow corners, and the first couple of corners are quite slow in
yeah.
Silverstone, and then you start getting onto the bigger straights. So whether or not that's favouring the Ferraris,
Mm,
but yeah, it's not that Antonelli had a bad start in the slightest, but those Ferraris were just quick. They were just
yeah.
like lightning off the start. Yeah,
It was crazy. Like, but then again, you watched uh, the Red Bulls behind just struggle to get off again.
yeah,
Not as bad as in the sprint,
no,
but they
no.
did seem to kind of bed down. But then poor Ollie Behrman,
Hmm.
they just get sent pirouetting by like was it turn three?
Yeah,
Going through
yeah, it was. Yeah, turn 3 or 4.
turn
Yeah,
3 or 4, and like Albon went for the move up the inside
yeah.
and locked up and just sent like sent it into the back wheel of Ollie Behrman, just
Oh
sent
yeah,
him pirouetting. Felt like rough because I think since his crash at Japan, he took a bit of time to kind of get going again.
yeah,
And the last couple of races, he's been kind of finding some form again. And then first lap of the race, he just get pirouetted. But Piastri picked up damage as well.
yeah. He did. Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I'm surprised that wing was still attacked. When he was going round, you could see the wing, and it was kind of like hooking
yeah.
back,
But
almost getting caught up underneath his like his front left wheel, wasn't it?
we didn't actually see what he caught damage on, though, did we?
No,
It just the camera pan round him and went, "Oh, Piastri's got damage," but we never got to see what from,
yeah,
and there was no comment to it either.
no, it was
It's
just
really strange.
yeah. And that kind of just put paid to his race. So that was one of the McLaren's out because he had to go get a new
Yeah,
wing. And obviously, in this new era of active aero, changing a front wing isn't as quick as it was last season. There's all got to disconnect it in such a way that you can then reconnect it to the active aero still.
yeah,
So that put him pretty much to the back of the pack from the get go.
yeah,
I mean, he recovered all right, just outside the points, but
yeah.
not a great day for him. Um,
No,
then I was waiting after those Ferraris got out front. It was just I was waiting and waiting and waiting for the Mercedes attack.
yeah, yeah,
Um, whatever issue the Ferraris had with deployment through the sprint, Charles especially didn't seem to be having those same deployment issues. Like in terms of like he was
yeah,
deploying in such a way that he wasn't leaving himself vulnerable. He was able to kind of
yes,
get himself into a
yeah,
rhythm and just start pulling away.
yeah,
Um, and he had such a controlled race um, from start to finish. Like once he was out front, that was it. He was
yeah, yeah. He was dominating that, wasn't
yeah.
he?
But
Yeah,
I was just waiting for those Mercedes to start pulling them in, start using that pace advantage of the engine, start
yeah,
using that battery advantage. But it didn't seem to come. Lewis and Kimi,
yeah,
that, that was always on, and Kimi was like did well to kind of recover himself in the
yeah,
early stages, but once again after we got through the first couple of laps, it just like nullified again.
yeah, yeah. That's part of the problem with these regulations. It does just neutralize the race.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
they all deploy batteries so much, trying to get a couple of positions and trying to get themselves, out of trouble or whatever.
yeah,
And then it's all right. We're in the recoup phase, and then now we might have a bit more of an attack for a lap or two, but now
yeah,
we're back in the recoup phase, and there was no what I would call real overtaking.
No, no, none.
No, no real fights for it. It was, again, everything was just down a straight with battery. Done and
Yeah,
dusted. I mean, you could tell where it was going to happen every single lap, because the cars that were defending had enough down Wellington, through Luffield, through Copse into Maggotts and Beckett's, but nothing
yeah,
left on Hanger Straight.
yes, yeah.
So the moment they come out of Maggotts and Beckett's and went past Chapel, it was just,
Yeah, it was over.
it was
Yeah,
over. And in fact, it was only when we started getting radio messages like George Russell's got a puncher, and we're like, oh, a little bit of excitement here.
yeah,
You're like, oh, bro, so because George was fighting Max for a bit and then gets past him, and then all of a sudden, oh yeah, George, we've got a slow puncher on the right rear. You're like, oh, okay, so he pits, and you're like, oh, how's he going to fight back now? And Kimi's chasing down Charles. It did look, for all intents and purposes, that Kimi was going to have enough to chase down Charles towards the end. I mean, Charles was doing a fantastic job, but it did look like that Mercedes did have the pace, and it was going to be like an inevitable last 10 lap battle, maybe.
yeah.
But all of the excitement, none of it come from the race itself.
No, no, it didn't. No.
We had the puncher.
Yeah.
Then Kimi's malfunction was so strange.
Yeah, so it was an inner wheel brake duct, wasn't it? So it was the cowling inside the wheel. So where you normally see it, you can't see the inside of the alloy wheel and the brakes itself. It's more like a dish that sits on the inside. But it pivoted and just came out completely, so it was 90 degrees. So it completely ruined his aerodynamics, and it just goes to show you how much those cars rely on the way the air flows over those cars, because it completely destroyed his aero. So they brought him in and boxed him, changed his tires, had a look at the front wing, and sent him straight back out again. Then realised it was that front brake duct, brought him back in and ripped it off, and then sent him back out. And he had to relearn the way the car was handling all over again. It's crazy.
How they did not spot it when he came in. Because if you watch the onboard, it's like it's on a hinge. It goes from being like that next to the wheels, like, boom, there it is. And I can only liken it to, have you ever tried to walk into the wind whilst holding up a big board?
That's it, yeah. Yeah.
And you're just fighting it the whole time. Essentially, that's what the left-hand side of his car was doing. Like, you see it as he comes out of Copse, and he's on the exit of Copse, and it's almost like vibration on the apex just caused something to malfunction and just snaps. And how, when he went in and they were inspecting it, no one went, oh, that massive thing there in front of the suspension shouldn't be there. So we lost all the time coming in, then all the time coming in again, and then managed to pick up a penalty for leaving the track limits, which we discussed this a little bit on Sunday.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
The whole idea of track limits and the penalties for track limits is to stop you from gaining a sporting advantage and kind of putting corners, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I personally think, I know it's a black and white rule. You go over track limits, you get a penalty. I get that.
Yeah.
But I think it's so harsh when you go over track limits because you can't turn the car. You haven't gained any advantage. You've lost time. You've actually lost time. And you could see, because it was a Colapinto behind him was just pulling him in. When he come out the second time, he was 4.5 seconds ahead of Colapinto. Within a couple of laps, it was 1.5 seconds. And you're like, the poor guy is only going off track because he can't get the car around the corner. It's not like he's not doing a Lewis with the brakes and cutting corners and not having to steer. You know, it's a bit harsh to get a penalty for that.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, I didn't want to see Antonelli get a penalty, but in the same sense, it's like you say, it is very black and white. And I think in some ways it has to be.
Mm.
And the only reason I say that is because we've seen it in the past when people have cut corners.
Oh, we got a little bit of a pause on the video. A little bit of an issue with the Discord call, folks. Just bear with us a moment. We were having these slight issues before we hit the record. It looked like it had all sorted itself out. So. Should be back any second. Oh, here we go. It's clear. The picture's all pixelated.
I'm back now.
Yeah, right. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, picture sorted itself out.
Right.
There we go.
I'll start that again. So, I think it needs to be black and white. As much as I don't want to see Kimi get a penalty, and I thought it was a little bit harsh, I think it has to be black and white. And the only reason I say that is because we've seen people in the past, whether or not people have been, oh, I didn't think I could make the corner, I've cut the corner, or some people have stood a little bit wide or whatever. We have seen it in the past where people have gone off track and they have seemed to have gained, if you look at the timings, a slight advantage. They might have only pulled somebody in 0.1, 0.2, whatever.
Mm.
And then it seems to be up to the, whether it's the marshals or the stewards, it'll be the stewards. And depending on how they're feeling on the day, it'll be, yeah, but, it's all right. It was only running wide. He didn't really gain an advantage. Or, well, he did, but he gave it back halfway around the lap. And, depending on who's looking at it, depends on what happens with it. And I think if we're going to have the rule track limits, I'm sorry, but you have to stick to them regardless.
Yeah.
And I know it's harsh because he couldn't control the car. I get that. But you either stick to it or you don't. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that, and I think the way it is written, you kind of got to do it. You've got to say, yeah. But I think, Martin Rudder was speaking about this as well, and he's like, it's not like what that specific rule was brought in to do.
Yeah.
Like, so there's the letter of the law and the spirit of the law, so to speak.
Yeah.
Spirit of it was to stop you gaining advantage by going off track.
Yeah.
And I think if there's empirical evidence to say you went off track and you gained 0.1 of a second on somebody, there's empirical evidence there, and you did gain, and therefore it's an infraction. If you go off track and you lose 0.2 of a second, and then you go off track again and you lose 0.2 of a second or 0.1 of a second, there's empirical evidence to show that you didn't gain any kind of advantage. You actually lost.
Yeah.
And by the spirit in which the law was brought in, you've not gained anything from it. But it's not written in that way. It is written in, if you leave track limits X amount of times, you'll get a black and white flag. If you do it again, you'll get a penalty. And I completely get it, and I completely understand why he got the penalty.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I'm not saying it's right in a way, but it's just because it is that black and white, we have no choice but to stick to it.
Yeah, yeah.
We've seen cars in the past go round a corner and they've ended up putting two wheels into a gravel trap and got a track limits infringement.
Yeah.
There's no way they haven't lost time in that.
And I think, though, like, even after he got the penalty, like, he took a few laps, but as you said, he was learning to drive the car again, essentially, because of getting down out. Yeah. And the gap to Colapinto got down to like 1.5 behind him. But then over the next couple of laps, he managed to start pulling out. And you were like, he's going to manage to pull that 5 seconds. That he's going to recover that. That's okay.
Yes.
He's had to relearn it. He's got the penalty. Yes, by the letter of the law, he deserves it. He's managed to relearn the car. He's got a few laps left. He's going to be able to pull that gap. He's got it. He's doing okay.
Yeah.
And then Max's rear wing.
Yeah.
That's the close.
It does. Yeah.
Not for the first time.
That's the third time from what they've been saying. Yeah. Which, that's part of where his frustration came, especially this weekend when he's been interviewed in the press pit after the race as well. He said, first time it happens, okay, these things happen. Second time, well, all right. I know we've tried to put a solution in place. Third time's unacceptable.
Yeah. So
you know,
was it Anthony Davidson did the Skypad look at it, and he was like, "You can see we
yeah,
thought maybe it didn't close, and you can see from the camera that it does close, and it, for all intents and purposes, it does look like it closes." But
yeah,
apparently, and even Red Bull have said, it's their issue. It looks like it closes, but it doesn't close fully,
yes,
and so still leaves a gap, which lowers the rear downforce, which explains why the moment he turns in, that car just goes.
yeah, yeah. It just gave up.
And I did watch a clip, and somebody basically put the onboard for the Austria one and this one, and
Yes,
it
yeah,
is
yeah,
identical,
yeah,
like including Max's input.
yeah.
And you're like, that's scary, that actually, because
Oh yeah,
you're approaching a corner at over 200 mile an hour.
oh yeah, oh yeah,
That's if that happens and the barrier, and there isn't a 50-foot gravel trap, 60-foot gravel trap, to catch you,
oh yeah,
and the barrier's only, a lot of these tracks, they do have just runoffs.
yeah,
You do that and it's a runoff and then a barrier 30, 40 feet away from the track.
oh yeah.
That's a high G impact. That's
The thing is, he was very lucky he didn't hit the barrier.
mm,
The other side of that is, what if he was going in for a move on the car in front?
mm,
There's nothing to say, or a car was coming up right behind him.
yeah.
It could have ended up as a massive accident. That
Mm,
it is
yeah.
unacceptable, and I can completely understand why he's been so annoyed with it.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, these drivers, I know these, the Formula One cars now are so immensely safe. It's unbelievable, but things still go wrong.
Yeah.
And so when these fellas are going out on track, going over 200 mile an hour, they are putting their life on the line. There is always a risk that something could happen. So if it's something that happens, through your own stupidity or whatever, or a freak event, okay, you can sort of go, oh, well, all right, well, we couldn't have prepared for that. But when it's the third time something's
Yeah.
happened, it's just wrong. Yeah.
Apparently, the FIA want to open discussions with Red Bull and Ferrari because they think it's a characteristic of the type of wing.
Right.
Whereas all the other teams just have that open, close on the
Yeah.
Where they have that like kind of Macarena, like not
Yeah.
a kebab wing, don't they, on the Ferrari
Yeah.
and they think it's a characteristic of that specific type of wing.
Right. Okay.
And so they want to open discussions with Ferrari and Red Bull regarding whether
Yeah.
they decide to outlaw them
Yeah.
as a safety thing. I don't know, but it's one of the. I think it's going to be one of the topics of discussion.
Yeah.
Because the other wings don't need to necessarily lock,
Yeah.
and you don't have as much range of movement to come back into place and close.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see where that conversation goes, because we've said many a time the gap that opens underneath that Red Bull wing, is it like Ted Kravitz to put his head in it?
Yes.
It lets a lot of air move over the
Oh
car.
yeah.
So I wonder if we'll see that wing at Spa.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
Whether they'll put the other one on.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know on that one.
Yeah, I just wonder from like not from an FIA perspective, but from a Red Bull perspective, whether they go, you know what, whilst we figure this out,
Yeah.
because if it goes wrong at Spa, it can go terribly
Oof.
wrong.
Oh yeah. Oh, without a doubt. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what rear wing Red Bull bring for not next week, it's the week after. Isn't it?
Yes.
So yeah, that is a point of discussion that we'll try and keep ourselves
Yeah.
up to date on. But then that bunched up the thing, because we got the safety car, and you think at that point,
Yes,
like,
we did. Yeah.
Antonelli was pulling that gap, and you're like, he's going to be all right, and then the safety car come, and you're
Yeah.
like, we're going to get maybe 1 or 2 laps racing here. he's out the points because he was desperate to stay in that 10th position, wasn't he? Just for the 1
Of course
point.
he was.
And you could see how competitive he was. He was like, I want to stay out because they were asking him if he wanted to retire.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, and then we get just the most bizarre sequence.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously the two Ferraris both box for softs. That loses Lewis track position, so he ends up third instead of second.
Yeah.
And to be fair, the majority of the grid all boxed to go onto softs, with the exception of George, who stayed out on his mediums.
Yeah. We've said this before because ultimately the race ended under the safety car, which everyone was like, "Oh well, hang on, what's going on here?" You know, the car's been cleared. The car's been cleared. There's been plenty of time. Now, apparently, according to the timings, someone did a deep dive on the timings. The car was clear. The marshals were out the way. There was nothing on track. And it took 2.5 minutes from there for race control to say, let the lapped cars through.
Yeah.
By which point it was lap 51. The very start of lap 51.
Yeah.
And then we end up in this weird regular, because we all thought, oh, they're going to let the cars go through, get half a lap ahead, and we're going to get lap 52 all out, race to the line. Lewis is on those softs, George is on those warm mediums. Lewis might be able to attack George and even Leclerc, you know.
Yeah.
Or Leclerc get a great start away, be gone. And,
And
so we're looking forward to this one lap shootout. We get the message, safety car in at the end of this lap. And then you're coming through Stowe towards the last chicane, and the safety car just doesn't pull in into the pit lane. And we're kind of like, what's going on here? Like, are we ending? And then again, it kind of comes up, safety car.
Yeah, they said the safety car had been recalled.
Yeah. So and it turns out that the rules basically say you've got to do one full lap after releasing the lapped cars.
Yeah.
Which wasn't lap 51. If they'd made the call 20 seconds earlier, or even 10 seconds earlier, they'd have been on lap 50.
Yeah, well, when they were discussing the regulations after the race, this was what I was talking to you about before. In the regulations, it doesn't state that you have to wait until the track is clear to let the lapped cars go past. Because in the regulation, once the lights get illuminated on the safety car, to allow the lapped cars to go back around the track, they have to travel at a steady pace, or a safe pace, as they put it. They can't go at full race pace in case there are still workers or equipment on track clearing the thing. And don't forget, there was no wreckage on the track. It was all off in a gravel pit. So there would have been nothing stopping them from letting those lap cars go past earlier anyway. And we could have still had that one lap of racing. It was a great shame to finish under a safety car, because nobody ever wants that. But the thing is, it was a shame for Antonelli because obviously he had that 5-second penalty. And it was a shame for Lewis because he gave up second place so that he could go and get new tyres. He ended up in third. So there was a couple of people who lost out in that. But before that safety car even got called, and we were looking at this yesterday, Lewis Hamilton was actually getting investigated for yellow flag infringement.
Yeah.
So when Hulkenberg retired, didn't he? But Hulkenberg retired on the track. He'd broken down on the track. And so a yellow flag was called in one of the sectors. Hamilton had just overtaken Max. They were then entering the sector with the yellow flag. Hamilton didn't lift at all and just kept it buried, whereas Max, who was behind him, did lift. Now, when you look at the electronic board that's on the track, that hadn't registered the yellow flag yet, but both of the steering wheels had.
Mm,
So on when you look at the onboards, Hamilton's steering wheel was registering the yellow flag, and so was Max's. So Max acknowledged it and lifted. Hamilton didn't.
mm,
Now, when it's been investigated after the race, they turned around and said, Hamilton said, "Oh well, I'd only just overtaken Max. I was being defensive because I thought Max would launch an attack, and so I didn't lift through that sector."
mm,
Well, so he never got a penalty, and nothing was done about it. It was like, "Oh well, all right then, sound."
mm.
But that is so unbelievably wrong.
The actual stewards report thing
Yeah.
explains it in more detail.
Well,
So Hamilton entered the relevant sector before any yellow flag or yellow light panel was displayed, with no such indication present before turn 9. The first light panel encountered after turn 9 was displaying green immediately before turn 10. Yellow indication on the steering wheel display only appeared once the driver was already on the straight towards turn 10 and close to the end of the yellow flag zone. The evidence showed that there was no yellow light panel warning within the driver's immediate field of vision, and that the yellow indication on the steering wheel display remained visible for only a short period. The stewards were therefore then satisfied that the time available for the drivers to react to the yellow flag indication was very limited. So
yeah, but if
they're
one's
basically
reacted to it and the
saying,
other hasn't,
um, yeah, I'm just saying that's what they put on there. But we had
yeah,
discussion about this as like the lights on the side of the track
yeah,
need to display exactly what's being displayed on the wheel.
yeah. Of course it does. Yeah,
That
oh,
has to
that,
be,
that's
because otherwise you're left in this
yeah.
scenario. It's like, well, he was never shown any yellow flags on the track.
Yeah.
He was past the incident. He was well into the yellow flag zone before it even picked up on the thingy, but he was being shown a green light. And you're like,
Now,
you're in this whole scenario where the panel before was blue, which is for back markers. The next panel he sees is green, and that's at the end of the zone. At no point has he seen an on track yellow flag.
you see, when you watch the onboard of the two of them, it's
Mm,
as they pass the broken down car on the right hand side.
mm,
So as they go past the broken down car on the right hand side, they've both got the yellow illuminated lights on the steering wheel. Max lifts, Hamilton doesn't. So it's all very well and good for the stewards to say, "Oh well, they were past the
mm,
event. They were driving past the broken down car, which has caused the yellow flag. When Max lifts, Hamilton doesn't."
mm.
So it's all very well and good to say it, but the problem is you can't go yellow flag dictates this and then go, "Well, yeah, but it was only on his steering wheel." Yet it was, but one of the drivers acknowledged it, one didn't.
No, I get the argument. I completely get the argument. My
Oh
thing
no,
with it is, it's
I'm
like
not disagreeing with you. Oh
if
yeah.
you're driving along at whatever speed it is, and that bit's up there, and you're driving, you're going through a corner. You've got
Oh
a
yeah.
massive light panel there, which is showing you blue, and another light panel that's showing you green.
Oh yeah.
Like, yeah, kudos to Max that he notices the thing and he lifts slightly.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if he hadn't have done, he probably would have the same argument. If you get me, because in what I'm trying to say is, whatever is displayed on the on those
Yeah.
boards has to match up to the wheel, or the
Of
driver
course.
doesn't
Yeah.
know
Oh yeah.
is
Yeah.
going to be a scenario where,
No.
like, well, if it's green on my dash but it's yellow there, can I go?
No. No. I completely understand that. I'm not
Um,
arguing that at
yeah,
all. They should completely match. But what I'm saying is,
yeah,
say, and we're going into hypothetical land
yeah,
here. But say Hamilton lifted because he acknowledged the lights on his steering wheel. Max didn't and launched the attack that Hamilton said he thought he was going to launch, and
mm.
Max overtakes him because of it. Does Max then have to give the place back? Because he would. He would. He would.
Again, you're in the hypotheticals. We don't know, because
No, I
the
know.
same
No, I know.
argument might apply to Max going past him. Because you might you might argue, well, I had the yellow on my dash, and Max would be like, well, I had green and blue
No, I know.
on the
But he'd be
side of the
made to
thing.
give the place back straight away.
Um,
And I'm not saying that's because it's
yeah,
Max. Any driver, whoever it is, if you have yellow lights, otherwise you may as well say we are never going to have the yellow or any other lights on the steering wheel because only the ones around the track matter. What's the point in having them on the steering wheel?
I just think it's a case of it's got to tie up. Because
Oh no, it has.
what if it's green? Not like, say if it's green there, but it's not, and then you end up in a different scenario. Like you end up in the opposite scenario, if you get me. But you've kept it to the floor because you've got a green light on your dash. You're not being shown the yellow on your dash. It's
Oh no.
It's what I get what you're saying in terms of like maybe you should have been given a penalty, maybe you shouldn't have. But I kind of my thoughts on it is he was past the point of the accident when he got the yellows. He was approaching the end of the sector, and at no point were there any other indications that it was yellow in that area, including at the end of that sector where it was green, going into turn 10. And you're like, what do you do as a race driver in the scenario?
Well, as you're driving past that broken down car and you've got yellow lights on your steering wheel, you'd lift because that's
He
where he was.
he got shown the yellows after that. Max had them before it because he was behind Lewis, but Lewis was past it, and then it was after that, and then you see because Anthony, the thing is like now you see it pop up on his dash, and it's those two little tiny yellows.
Yeah, on the onboard, those yellows are on whilst he's driving past that broken down Audi.
I could have sworn it, like Anthony David showing the thing that it was on afterwards. I'll have another look at it, obviously. But,
have a look at it. But I just think there's no point in having them on the steering wheel. I understand they should match. Of course they should match. I'm not arguing that they shouldn't. But there's no point in going, okay, well, as you're going around the corner and there isn't one of those electronic boards because it's as you exit the corner, the whole point of the ones on your steering wheel is because that's to tell you what the track is on at the minute. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the thing of it. So you either have them on the steering wheel or you don't bother. Because there's no point. There's no point at all.
I just think it's one of those situations where if nothing's adding up, if nothing's tying up, how can you apply penalties? I'm trying to see if we can see the onboard.
I just think it's getting into the realms of, well, I can just say I didn't see it. Do you know what I mean? Because you can.
Not if there's a massive yellow board there and another yellow board further down, but if you're being shown blue and green, which is race on, we can go round in circles with it.
Yeah.
I completely agree that if the yellows have been shown all around, he should have got a penalty.
Yeah.
Completely. But at the same time, it's such a positioning thing as well. And actually, I think max lifting is irrelevant.
Okay.
Because
why?
What Lewis does in his car is not attached to what Max does in his car. Because
I'm not saying it is.
Because of the positioning of the cars. Max could easily have been shown that yellow before he had got to the car, the stricken car.
Yeah.
Whilst Lewis, because he was ahead, could have received it afterwards. So it's contextually different.
Right. So if you're both shown yellows, one can decide to acknowledge it, and the other one can ignore it.
It's completely
exactly
it's not if you've only got a green light ahead of you, you're past the incident. It pops up for a second and then disappears. Right.
But the second it pops up, you should lift.
What if are you like this looking at your wheel the whole time? Or are you here looking at mirrors? Are you here looking at the thingy exits? This is what I'm saying. Where Max is in conjunction to Lewis is a different part of the track. It might only be 20, 30 meters apart, but it is a different part of the track. They're both contextually doing different things at that point. So if I'm here looking at my apex here and this comes up for a split second and I don't see it, but I see a green flag, what am I going to do? Now, if Max is in and he's kind of making an adjustment on his steering wheel, maybe, and he's, it's a yellow. Oh. So what Max does in his car is irrelevant to what Lewis does in his car because they're not doing the same thing at the same point of the track. That's that's the kind of argument I'm making with it.
Yeah, every driver can just say they didn't see it. Yeah,
great. No, they can't. They can't.
Of course they can. I was looking at my mirrors. Of course they can.
They can't
Of course they can.
if the outside thing is showing exactly what the wheel shows.
Oh no, I know. But what I'm saying is,
That
if it isn't,
that's the problem.
yeah, but no, I know that. I'm not arguing that. What I'm saying is, any driver that goes, it was only on my steering wheel, just go, I didn't see it because I'm not driving around looking at my steering wheel. That's easy. It's easy. You just turn around and go, I didn't see it. I was looking at my mirrors.
But that's just the thingy arguments of it. That's just like a quick get out argument of it. Because basically,
Yeah.
You're not saying I
That's,
didn't see the flag because you're being shown a green flag. You're being shown a blue flag. You just didn't see a
yeah.
yellow dot on your wheel. Now, if it's all tied, like I say, if it's all tied up, you can't go. I didn't see
of
nothing.
course. Yeah,
But
yeah.
in that context, what Max does in his car, Max might have seen it because he's making some sort of adjustments. Lewis might not have seen it because he's not making those adjustments, and he's lining
I'm not
up.
saying he did see
it. So no, you
Yeah.
can't turn around and go. Every driver can just go, "Oh, I didn't see it," because it's just
Of course they can.
it's contextually different. It's situationally different for the driver. That's
No. I just no. If you're going to let drivers just ignore the yellow flag on the steering wheel, regardless, I know it should show around the track. I'm not arguing that. If you're going to let drivers just ignore the yellow flag on the steering wheel because it can be contextually different and not driving around staring at the steering wheel, any driver that doesn't see one on the track but just notices it on the steering wheel and thinks, oh, I've got that guy right behind me, I'm not going to lift. We'll just go, I didn't see it. Sorry about that.
And that's where I'm saying that's where the other argument of is it you need to make sure everything's linked up.
Yeah,
and then you wouldn't be in the scenario.
Yeah,
you're in.
Completely agree with that. Yeah, completely agree with that. Yeah, I'm not arguing that.
But that's what I was saying. What Max does doesn't have a bearing on what Lewis did.
I'm not saying it does.
And shouldn't have a bearing on whether or not Lewis gets a penalty for it. Like, obviously, if he'd have been nailing it underneath yellows and yellows were everywhere, I'm all for the penalty. But when there's completely mixed signs everywhere, which ones do you look at? Which ones do you follow?
No. Completely get that. What I'm saying is it just needs to be either something's got to be put in place where how does the yellow appear on the steering wheels but doesn't appear on the track, for one? How does that even happen? Is that activated by the team, or is that like a central thing that sends it to everyone's car? Because it's daft if it does it on the track but not on the car.
I'm pretty sure it's race control.
Well, this is what I'm saying. How does race control activate it on the cars but not on the tracks? That's just stupid for a start. But you've got to put something in place where it says, if the two don't marry up, you can just ignore it. Or if the lights appear on your steering wheel, regardless of whether they're on the track or not, you have to abide by them. The same as if they appear on the track but not on your steering wheel. Do you know what I mean? They have to put things in place that state, if this appears, whether it's on the track or on your steering wheel, you abide by it, regardless of whether you thought an attack was coming or not. Because that was his excuse he gave to the steward. It wasn't that he didn't see it. He said, I've just overtaken Max, and I thought he was going to launch an attack, so I didn't lift.
No, he basically said he was looking in his mirrors. Not that he saw it and didn't lift, because he was looking in his mirrors expecting the attack. Not that he saw it and ignored it.
Right, okay.
That he was looking in his mirrors on the exit of the corner because he was expecting the attack to come. Not that he was like, oh, I'm not going to lift because I'm not going to lift because he's there. It was I'm here, looking here.
Got you.
Which I'm guessing from onboards, they can look at head position and all that, which is why I think so. He hasn't just gone, oh, I saw it, I was expecting an attack, so I floored it.
Yeah. No, I get that.
But I do want to go find that onboard anyway. Have a look, because I think my memory of it's different. But I'm happy to be wrong.
No, it's it's done now.
Yeah, but yeah, I think it's definitely something they need to look at.
Yeah.
From a safety standpoint, that you can't have different flags being shown to the same driver.
Yeah.
Whether it's wheel or outside or thingy or anything like that.
Yeah.
Because it opens up this scenario, this whole scenario.
Of course.
Which, yeah, I mean, we'll chat about that one. But then, we get to we're under that safety car at the end,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, apparently the rule is they've got to complete one whole lap.
Yep.
And this is where that 2.5 minutes comes into play in between clearing Max's car and making the call to that. Because if you look at Oscar's on board, and he's like one of the first of the lap cars to be able to go through, he gets the call just after he's gone through past the start finish line.
Yeah.
And if it had happened 2 minutes earlier, we definitely get one lap of racing. So it's almost like race control have just gone and made a brew whilst they're waiting for the the car to be moved, and then they've gone, oh, we can race now.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
But it wasn't the only confusion. Poor Carlos Sainz.
Yeah, got the strangest penalty ever.
Yeah. He went through the pits at the wrong time to kind of pit underneath the safety car, which then meant, because it's a shorter, because you take out the chicane in the last corner, don't you? He was on the lead lap whilst he was in the pits for a brief second before they went past him again. So when they got the call to lapped cars can go through, he thought he was a lapped car, because technically he was before he went into the pits.
Yeah.
Unlapped himself in the pits briefly. So he went around with only unlapped cars, and he shouldn't have. He should have stayed there and effectively been lapped twice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he got a full lap penalty.
Yeah. Just to put him back where he should be. Yeah.
That's rough.
It's crazy, that isn't it?
Crazy. Apparently, though, when they were coming around the last corner, in the under the safety car, Lando asked if they were allowed to pit. Equally, I think he knew what the answer was. Like, you can't finish under the pits, because it would have been a shorter thing and he would have won, essentially.
Yeah.
But then Kimi, with that penalty, dropped all the way to 15th and out of the points.
Yeah.
And
yeah, it was a shame the race ended that way.
Yeah,
it was a shame, that.
Yeah. It's I felt for him. It really looked like he was going to get those 5 seconds and keep that point, because, as we know, a point can be huge in. In the long story. And George did well to recover to second, but the best of the opportunity after that punch check. He did do well to recover to second. He has closed that gap now on Kimi to 25 points.
Yes.
Which he believes is about right for how they've all performed in the first 9 races, apparently.
Yeah, all right, Russell. But it puts Hamilton close to Russell, though, doesn't it?
Does. 7 points behind him. So 32 points behind Kimi. So right now it's a 3-horse race,
which is good. That's what we want to see. Yeah.
Leclerc, he's closed in a little bit there, but it is those two Mercs, then Lewis for now. With Lando and Oscar behind them, and then Max and Isaac behind them as well. But there's Max is 103 off Kimi at this point in that Red Bull. So I think even if they have done what they need to do to that car, I think it might be a bit too late. I don't think we're going to see
that last year as well.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't think we'll see another last half of the season charge in that, especially with the way those Mercedes are. I think
but we said that with McLaren last year.
Yeah,
that's it.
But they kind of screwed themselves over with the whole papaya rule stuff, I think.
They did, and I mean, I can't see it happening. But we said when we were talking last year before we started this podcast, we both said the same thing. McLaren's have got it. Lando's already won it. There's no chance for any sort of fight back from anywhere.
Yeah.
And Yeah. That's not the way it worked. So we shall see. We shall see.
And out in the team standings, Mercedes took a bit of a hit, but they're still 78 points ahead of Ferrari.
Yeah.
But the interesting one, like I said before, McLaren and Red Bull, there's now only 51 points between them.
Right.
McLaren on 179, Red Bull on 128. Racing Bulls have closed down on Alpine. There's only a point between them in 5th and 6th, now 60 and 59. So I think Racing Bulls will be the best of the rest.
Yeah, I think so.
I think they're gonna get that 5th place.
Yeah,
for sure. But it's going to be that McLaren Red Bull fight is going to be an interesting one.
Yeah.
And that there's a possibility that if Ferrari keep getting 2 people on the podium in between, like sandwiched in between, with the Mercedes sandwiched in between, they could pull Mercedes in.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's not looking as clean cut as it did after the first 5 or 6 races.
No, not at all. No. But I do think that brings us to a close for this episode, bud.
It does. But, nice little debate and race talk.
Well, it's okay that you're wrong every now and again, but
I mean,
I don't mind.
Same for you.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, that'll never happen, will it? Now, obviously, we've got Spa in 2 weeks, just about.
Yeah.
There or thereabouts. Now, the podcast for that one will seem a little bit different because I'm away. So how we do that, we don't quite know yet, but we shall still release an episode. It might just be slightly different to normal. But that's your problem, not mine. So, yeah.
Well, what we'll try and do is we'll try and kind of cut through it as quick as we can as well, so we don't take too much time from your holiday. But
yes, that's it.
We'll be cutting into one of your
beer in hand. Oh yes. Can I record a podcast in the hot tub? Is that all right? Is that allowed? Be audio
got
only.
The camera from up here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
We don't want to see your full blazing Max tattoo.
Well, there you go. Yeah. Red Bull right across the chest. Yeah, that's it.
Oh yeah, so that'll be in 2 weeks' time, folks. There'll be no podcast next week. But if there's any news bits that we want to pick up on, I'm sure we'll pick up our phones and record a quick bit and then post it to the socials if anything pops up. But yeah, thank you to listening to us ramble on, arguing. All right. We really appreciate it, as we say, all the support on all the podcasts, on all the clips. It means so much to us. We're getting to talk about a sport we love. Although at times it might not sound like that. We do love the sport. So thank you for all of your support. And until next time, thanks for listening. And take care.